one, I have a goal of becoming over the next decade the global entrepreneurial economist. I want to have experience in every possible industry to understand how the entire world works from an experience point of view so that I could consult any company and help them grow. Hey, what's up? Kris Krohn here, and welcome to Have It All. Listen, this is the show where I'm dedicated towards sharing all the hacks that I get from my mentors, the things that I'm implementing, sharing valuable ideas about how to have it all. And I'm talking about your health, and I'm talking about your relationships, and I'm talking about your finances. And today's episode is really specifically for business owners. And I want to talk about business advisory. I want to talk about how you find mentors or experts, business experts in your field, and how you can actually get them to work with you for free to 10x your business. Because clearly business experts are expensive, right? They cost a lot of money. They can charge thousands an hour. They can charge 10,000 plus a day. And that's because they've been where you want to go. They have the secrets, they have the hack, and you don't really need their time. You need their knowledge. You need their wisdom, you need their track record, and you need their secrets. And so I want to talk about this whole notion out there that I learned from Roland Frazier called Consult for Equity. And it's all basically around this idea that you hire a business advisor who has already been where you want to be in your business, and they share these secrets with you and how you share back some of the revenue with them, how you share back some of the profits with them, not on what you've done in the past, but everything that you create in the future. And that's what we're going to be jamming on today. And I've got someone here in studio helping me out, the person that helps me organize all of my Consult for Equity plays, none other than the amazing Trent Levitt, my workout companion, my really good friend.
Hey buddy, how are you?
Good, Trent. How you doing, man?
I'm very, very good.
Dude, where were you at 5 a.m. this morning?
I was standing next to you and my arms hurt.
That sounds a little bit weird. You're going to have to clarify what that means. Oh, it was arm day.
Today was arm day, and you you were not nice to me today.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the pattern every day. One of us has to be that person, right?
Yeah, I think it was payback for last Wednesday when what I did to you.
Well, that was called leg day.
Correct.
And you mutilated me. You're the worst. I hate you.
Thank you.
But then we get over it and it's all good.
Correct.
I think, by the way, it is important to have people in your life that can push you, which is actually kind of what today's conversation is about. I tell people, you need a mentor in your health. We got Yo, who's training you and I right now.
Correct.
He's got us on 2 different shows right now, but he basically monitors our food. He monitors our exercise. On Saturday, he's lifting with us, coming all the way up to the clubhouse. And Yo will, listen, as bad as we are to each other, Yo's worse.
You and I take pre-workout before we work out. When Yo shows up, I take like a scoop and a half rather than the one
I did
scoop.
not know that you did that. Is that your secret?
That has been my secret every time that Yo comes to see us.
Hashtag Yo-Yo Gains. If you find him on Instagram, he's a great coach. So having coaches in every area of your life, obviously super important, but I specifically brought you, Trent, into my company because how many opportunities a day am I getting through email and social media, people just saying, hey, can you help me with this thing? Can you help me with this property? Can you help me grow my business? How many of these do we get?
Well, when you first brought those up to me, you would say, I get hit up every day by multiple people. And I thought, well, that's, you're probably getting 2 or 3 a week and you're just exaggerating. You're not exaggerating. It's multiples per day that now I have to handle, not you.
Yeah. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I love it.
By the way, super little side note, successful people are always training their protege. You always have someone in training, and Trent is my clone on the business expansion and the scalable side of all my operations. And listen, when you succeed in business enough, you definitely get people that come out and they're like, oh, I would want to partner with you on your social media. You're getting millions of organic views, or, oh, I like what you're doing in the health space, or, oh, Kris, I see that you're into trucking, or you're in biomed, or I see that you're doing this thing in real estate, or, and I'm in so many industries now. So I get hit up from people all across. They're curious about my social media strategies because paid media really died this last year.
Correct.
And, so people are interested in how I do the social side, but sometimes they just have industry specific knowledge and their belief is, yo, if Krohn's done $1 billion of real estate and that's my angle, then maybe he knows some things that can help me there.
Can I say one thing on that? In finding the right expert, sometimes it's finding the expert that's actually not in your industry, because so many people get compartmentalized in that thought of the industry and how it works. When you bring in someone from an outside area, and it doesn't always work out that way, but a fresh perspective, a different set of ideas, a different set of standards, you can change an industry overnight.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to talk about Consult for Equity because one, I think that you either are an expert in your industry and you might be the consultant to help a smaller smaller company out, and there could be a play that really is gratifying and meaningful to you. Or you might be on the other side. Hey, I'm doing okay in my business, but if you're telling me I could grow double, triple, quadruple, I'm growing like 10, 20, 30%. I want to grow, 5X. I want to grow 10X. Then, this episode is about how do you find that business advisor? And so we'll talk about the theory of that, but for fun, like what are some of the projects that you're investigating right now that people have brought to me that you're kind of vetting?
Well, there is a biomedical company, and I'll just leave it at that. I won't go into the details of it, but fantastic.
Are you under NDA on that one?
Not as of yet, but
okay. But so this is a company that has taken a major disease and has potentially found one of the best solutions out there.
That is correct.
And why on earth, like I'm not in medicine. Why are they looking to do a deal with me?
Business experience, access to capital, but the main conversation was business experience. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that don't really understand that hospitals are businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, that's a government service. I'm like, like these are businesses.
Yeah, these are absolute businesses and established, well run, and some of them are well funded. Some of them are not as well funded. Just in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 different trucking companies come to me and have different ideas on play for equity in wanting some of your brain space. Multiple real estate developers.
Well, let's talk about the trucking one because we talked about that at the gym this morning just a little bit. Here's an example of a traditional company. Hi, we've got a very lucrative business. We've scaled in 5 years to 13 trucks and our goal is to have them all paid off and that's how we're growing. And I'm like, okay, I looked at your P&Ls. I looked at your margins. And the reality is if you would just employ leverage, then you could grow your business literally like 9 times faster. And when you look at the scale of profits there, that's something they're not comfortable with, but with the help of a business advisor that's been there, done that, it changes everything.
It does change everything. Absolutely.
So a business expert really is about bringing in innovation and scale. In my opinion, those are the 2 things that people should care the most about, as well as just trade secrets and business secrets. And secret sounds a little bit like marketing language, but really what I mean is the shortcut. Like anyone who's mastered a process now has a shortcut. And if you are new to the process, like dude, there's this guy that we're working on a consult for equity play with. He's got a sales team. He doesn't know how to scale it.
Correct.
We had 2 20-minute conversations and he tripled sales.
Yes.
And I have to tell you like, okay, let's look at it from the other side. We know what they stand to get from getting a business advisor. We'll talk about how you can get one for free. But let me tell you why I like being a business advisor. One, I have a goal of becoming over the next decade the global entrepreneurial economist. I want to have experience in every possible industry to understand how the entire world works from an experience point of view so that I could consult any company and help them grow. Like that's a personal goal of mine, which means that I'm also looking for ways of gathering, experience. And so this consult for equity and being a business advisor has been fulfilling. But the only reason why it works, frankly, is because people don't want to buy my time. I'm not an employee. I'm not a business partner. In many situations, I get 10% of profits of new growth. So that's what they're getting in exchange so they don't feel like there's a risk. I'm not asking for what they've created or developed in the past. It's the promise of I can help you grow way, way bigger and I'm going to get a piece of that upside. And one of the things, Trent, I have you tell everyone is you don't get Krohn's time. You get his brain. And that's different because more than likely my help is going to take minutes, texts, maybe an occasional 5 or 15-minute phone call. We're not having weekly board meetings.
I talked to someone on the phone today in a follow-up appointment, and this person has had a little bit of conversation, mostly through text with you. And he said, Trent, I really want to work with Krohn on a deeper level now, because in these 2 or 3 text messages we've gone back and forth on, I've implemented what he's done. I'm already seeing the results.
Yeah.
So it's not about your time in people getting it. It's the consolidation of your time based on your experience. And you can put that literally in a text message. It changes everything for people.
So listen, if you're still listening to this, then obviously there might be some usefulness of this knowledge. So let me give you the outline of how this works. Number one, you got to find the right business expert, and this advisor has 10x or 100x plus the experience that you do. So your job is to find someone that has that.
Correct.
Your job on you, however, is different. You got to self-introspect and you got to ask, am I willing to execute? Like, am I organized that I can set aside bandwidth that if this person gives me these insider secrets and these systems that I can implement? If the answer, like if you're not the most dependable implementer you probably aren't ready for a business advisor, or you're just not going to get the shot out of them. You're not going to get everything you can out of that relationship that you could.
Correct.
So you got to find the right advisor. And then step 2, you got to be ready as an implementer, because execution, like Tony Robbins says, is everything. If you're not going to execute, you shouldn't get a business advisor. And then the third step is, what is the arrangement? And my preferred arrangement that I learned from Roland Frazier that I'm grateful for is his traditional consult for equity play is a profit sharing agreement. And it says, when we produce new profits, you're going to share a percentage of those. And I think 10% is fairly typical. It depends already on the size of the company and the industry. There might be a really large company where the percentage is going to be smaller than 10. But I asked Roland, I said, I'm curious, why 10 and not 20? He said, Kris, if you want to give me 20%, then it means that you're going to stop viewing me as an advisor and you're going to start treating me like an employee. And he said, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, oh, I get it. There's a percentage there. And so you got to ask yourself this question, because someone's like, this is crazy. Someone's going to trade money for an expert to come in and give them advice. And here's all you have to ask yourself. Would you trade a dime for a buck? There was a moment when I was about to make one of the biggest consult for equity plays where I wasn't the consultant. I was the company hiring my consultant. And we were talking about a lot of money because the business is doing really well. And I was feeling a little bit nervous. And, one of my managers came over and said, Kris, would you trade a dime for $1? And I'm like, duh, yes, I would. I'm like, oh, great. How many dimes do you think this consultant's going to put in your machine? And I'm like, probably like, I don't know, 50X worth. And he's like, great. Would that be worth the trade of 5X? I'm like, well, of course I'd trade 50X growth for 5X. And so I think that's kind of what it comes down to. So it's refreshing because advisors could charge you, $5, $10, $20,000 a day, or you could get them quote unquote for free, as long as they're willing. Find the right one. You got to be ready to implement, and then you got to find one that's open to the idea of we'll share 10% of new profits. And if that's the case, then this might be your secret to next level growth.
So I think it's important you say new profits. So if a company's been averaging $1 million a year, and they want you to take them to 10, you're not participating in that first $1 million.
No, if they have $1 million of profits, I'm not going to say, well, you signed the agreement, now you owe me 100,000 or 10% of that every single whatever. No, it's not that at all.
So what you've spelled out here is, in my mind, a perfect win-win. You're getting 10% when you've done your part and you've 5X, 10X, 20X that business, and they've only given up 10%, but now look how much they're going to grow in that process. It's a perfect win-win.
Yep. So listen, for those of you that, might be a little bit interested in what is that, then one of the things that you should do is you should go to kriskrohn.com. You can email support or whatever. And if you're interested in some type of business advisory or consult for equity play, ultimately it's going to find its way to Trent's desk.
Correct.
And Trent, when someone does reach out to you, for that, I want you to understand his process, because I might not be the business advisor for you, but if I am, what are the 3 things that you look for before you involve me in the process with the vetting?
Well, besides just having an initial conversation with them, the first thing I want to look at, profit and loss statements. Preferably for 3 years is what I'd really like to see. But absolutely for, as of right now, let me look at it.
It might be a new company, might only be 1 year old and on to something real hot.
Correct.
So P&Ls.
Correct.
You want to understand the premise of the company. And then what else do you like finally?
I like to know what they do differently.
So they have some kind of X factor, like what's unique or special about you? What's your competitive advantage, your USP, unique selling proposition?
Correct. And then I want to know the pros and cons that they have in their mind of working with you.
Got it. So ultimately, what do they what do they want from me? Because some of them might say, well, I want you to put me on your YouTube channel and, make a video every day. I don't know if I can do that.
Right. It helps set realistic expectations up front. And no one has said yet, I want to do YouTube videos with Kris. But that's going to be
that's going to be down the road eventually at some point.
Correct.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, listen, if you want, if you are interested in some type of consult for equity conversation, or what it'd be like if I was the business advisor helping you 10X your business, then all you got to do is go to kriskrohn.com. Just got to spell it right? KriskRohn, kriskrohn.com, or haveitallshow.com. And listen, just contact our company. Let them know, hey, I'm interested in this consult for equity. Can I talk to Trent? That is the name of the man right there that they got to get it to anyway. And he'll kind of stake it down the vetting path. And if things look like there's some real possibility, then we'll all be jumping on together. And got to tell you, I love the consult for equity play. I love participating in growing people's business. And it's simple for me because it's, here's my cell phone. Let's text and let's meet when we need to so that we can literally put in as little time as possible to experience maximum growth and then just share in amazing winnings. And then we get to hang out and spend some time together at some of the other business functions that I do and get to rub shoulders with a lot of my business contacts. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for watching today, guys. We'll catch you on the next Have It All.